Hey, Matt from the A-Team here, and today on 4-Minute Film School, we're taking a look at DIY light modifiers, like these. So in a lot of our previous episodes, we've showcased how you can use alternative and more affordable light fixtures, say like light bulbs or our panel light, the H672. But let's say you spent all of your money on the lights and not enough on light modifiers. So today we're going to show you a few different DIY techniques that might look pretty similar to using, say, industry standard techniques that might help you in case you're on a budget. Let's go. So now that we're on set, let's begin. We have our setup good to go. We created a book light using our affordable LED panel, the H672, and the modifiers we're using are primarily used on professional sets. We have our foam bounce card, we have our magic cloth serving as our diffusion, and for our negative fill, we're using a standard Hollywood floppy. But can we do this on a cheaper level? First, let's start with the bounce. This is what's known as a pizza box. It's just a simple foam reflector. It's nice. It is neutral because there's nothing really bouncy. There's nothing shiny here. It is just a neutral white surface, spreading the light evenly across that surface and spreading light onto our talent. So for our affordable option, let's actually start with the 5-in-1 reflector, because in most cases, a lot of us do have a 5-in-1 reflector. It offers a variety of different bounces. They come in a variety of different sizes with a bunch of different sides to them, like a gold side. But today, we're just going to bounce the light back onto our talent using a similar neutral white side. So let's take a look at that. Repositioning the light just a little bit to bounce it back onto her face. So the nice thing about these reflectors is they can fold in on itself and they're super nice, compactable. You can take them pretty much wherever if you're traveling for a film shoot. This is what our shot looks like with a reflector board. So say you don't have enough for a reflector board like this, what else can you do? You can actually build your own bounce card. So for our affordable option, we have a simple insulation board that we have cut up into our pizza box-like size. One side is shiny, the other side actually has a layer of paper printed on top, because usually you might have like some logos on the back or whatever, but you want something that's just pure neutral, just white, very similar to a piece of paper that you get from the printer. So if you're building your own bounce board, you may not have the budget for your own C-stand. So we can also build our own stands from the hardware store. So for our C-stand replacement, we actually just went to the hardware store for PVC pipes. We're not going to show you how we built it. We actually are just using the same design that Film Riot had built. We're just showing you that you can build something with little to no money. So now to put this together, we have clamps also from the hardware store, and I am actually going to set it up because this thing can be pretty delicate. I don't want to actually damage the top or bottom, so I'm just going to lay it right on top of our clamp the top as well. That way it's held between two different contact points. This is what our frame looks like with our DIY bounce board, our DIY light stand with an affordable light panel. So now we have our key light set up, we have our bounce set up, we can now see what it looks like on our subject, but we can make it a little bit softer with a layer of diffusion. So now we have our magic cloth, we're actually going to raise it up, and that will spread the light even more across our layer of diffusion. So now we have a book light. We have our key light, we have our bounce, we have our layer of diffusion. This is what our subject looks like. So if we don't have the budget for our magic cloth, there are a variety of different options we can go for. One being recycling our 5-in-1 reflector. So all reflector boards have a layer of diffusion on the inside if you take the cover off of it. Then we'll re-raise the C-stand. And I'm actually going to move this more this direction. That way we have a wider spread of light. And now, with me out of the frame, this is our current setup. Still a book light with our light, our bounce, now our new diffusion. But if you don't have a 5-in-1 reflector, there's still another option we have, and that is something a little more homemade. I built our brand new square of diffusion. This is a frame that I built out of literally just PVC pipes, the same PVC pipes as our wannabe C-stands. And then for our layer of diffusion, I just bought a tablecloth from a grocery store. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that this isn't in frame. I have a clamp from the hardware store, I'm actually going to clamp the top and then use the handles as our hook. So now we have our budget-friendly LED panel with our super affordable and DIY bounce with our other super affordable and DIY diffusion. This is what our shot looks like for pretty much little to no money, most of our money being spent on our main key light. So now this is what our shot looks like with some negative fill, just to add some nice contrast to the other side of the face. Let's go with a more budget-friendly option, say a t-shirt. So I'm gonna remove our flappy, and then we're actually gonna use a C-stand arm to attach our normal t-shirt. So I'm just gonna insert it through one side of the arm and then poke it through on the other side of the arm in a very similar fashion to a scarecrow even. We're gonna raise it up. So now we're gonna rotate it until it's out of the frame. I might actually bring this forward a little bit. Now we have our black t-shirt providing some negative fill. This is what the shot looks like. For something DIY like this, you can really use any kind of fabric, whether that's, say, a curtain for a window, or in our case, a black t-shirt. So now this is what our shot looks like, only using DIY light modifiers. Let's take a look.